You gotta go with things that you understand, businesses that you know.
It was really a compliment. Like, people missed the whole first half of that, in which I said he was the most dominant player I've ever seen, and I felt like he could have been the greatest of all time. Right? And so people kind of missed that part of it, caught on to the lazy part. No, I kind of said that tongue-in-cheek. We weren't going to win 12 rings, nor were we going to, but it's all good. And what I wanted to teach kids in the story is how do you deal with anxiety, how you deal with pressure.
How to outwork everyone. Kobe Bryant's most powerful speech. You are not an ordinary person. You can outwork everyone else in the world. To succeed in business and life, you must be willing to put up the necessary effort. In most cases, it involves working harder than someone else who's pursuing the same goal. What you're trying to achieve could be anything from a promotion at work to something more personal, such as a man or woman to who you want to get closer. If you want to win, you will have to put in more effort than your competitors. It is often the case that the most successful people, whether in life, sports, or even business, are not necessarily those who possess the most aptitude or abilities. If you are willing to put in more effort than everyone else, you will achieve the success that no one else will be able to match. Always go the extra mile and be willing to take on tasks and risks that aren't exactly part of your job description, but will benefit your company's or your business's growth anyway. Everyone will be outworked and out-hustled. When you do, you will be putting the truth into reality at your place of work. So, another thing is that you have to pay attention to what the person says. You need to pay attention to some things when you're working with your coworkers or teammates. These people have certain triggers or motivating factors that you're drawn to, and you can learn those. You must keep an open mind. Pay close attention to your coworkers or colleagues. Pay attention to what they say, since some sayings can also benefit you. You need to focus on life too. To be successful, you need to be able to focus, and the competition is a hurdle sent by the force of average to prevent you from achieving greatness. If you want to be more productive than your colleagues, you must learn to maintain your concentration no matter what is going on around you. You're unstoppable when you've mastered the art of concentration and focus.
How was I going to announce that I was going to walk away from the game? And for the most part, as athletes, we tend to think about that in terms of communicating that to the public or to fans. But I realized I hadn't really had a chance to speak to the game itself. And so I decided that was going to be my focus. And once I had that focus, the words came pretty quickly. I actually wrote 2 drafts within about 30 minutes.
There's not so much of the patient game that takes place on the surface, right? But the way I approach it is, I'm used to having this patient approach because when you start training camp, you're building the tools necessary to win a championship. So you have to have the patience. Anxiety, how you deal with pressure. And nothing does that more so than tennis because it's such an isolated event, right? Where you have to deal with things yourself. You're facing an opponent across the net that's challenging you. And so it's very important to get those messages across. And also to create characters that actually look like our daughters, because we don't see too many characters out there in literature that are mixed. The first one was more confrontational in nature because it felt like the game was trying to tell me you need me. You can't walk away from this, this is who you are. And so the first tone was more confrontational. It was like, no, I can walk away from you. I can do something without you, Strategically build out this structure of your offense, this structure of your defense for the first month of the season, then move on to the second phase and the third phase. You patiently build it up. So, the way I'm approaching the second phase of my life, the same way. And then like in every argument, you kind of calm down and you start seeing all the beautiful things that you've learned from the game, which is the second draft you guys hear now. But I wanted to make sure it was visual. So it's easy to say, tell the game, I love you so much. But instead, I wanted to paint a picture with that. So if a kid is rolling his dad's stinky tube socks up, chances are you love the game enough to do that. Their daughter hears Lily's Lemonade, in which she's singing along to it. That's not there, right? So that's the challenge, that's the one thing. And I spent a lot of time with mentors as well. So it's trying to say things visually. And fortunate enough, Glenn Keane believed in the vision, and John Williams believed in the vision and turned it into an animated film. The fear of starting anew, and that was certainly present for me as well. It's starting from scratch, right? Because when you play for 20 years, you reach a certain level, you're like, okay, wait a minute, I have to start again at the base of a mountain and try to climb to the top of this mountain. First of all, what mountain am I climbing? I don't even know, what the hell am I going to be doing? And it's very scary. and fortunately I failed quite a bit, but I understand that's actually part of the process of succeeding. I'm not one that really believe in failure. I believe you have setbacks. You have to learn from those. You have to learn what are those landmines that can be avoided the next time. What are those pitfalls? And you have to learn from that stuff. And so, I welcome those things. It's a part of life.